Hello guys, welcome back to the session. I hope you are doing good. So we will start our session now, and till now what we have done we will recap that. So till now we have completed the created one Maven project, added some dependencies, and then we have added some folders, and then also we have created the base class, form class, and also we write some of the test cases in the test class. And then we have verified the first test case is that verify the URL logo. And also I forgot to show that page title, that is also one of the most important test case in the functionality testing. Then also we will go for further next test case, that is the verify the login functionality. So today we will see the login functionality testing, but before that we have to add some of the some of the properties in our project. So step 4 will be create the utility class, then add some file like failed test case screenshot folder. Then also we will add one config file, config.properties file, which will store some of the configuration data like URLs and some of the browser links or like that. So we will add some links from there only to store, so that we will avoid to hardcode the data in our coding. So that these are the last of this is the last step we are going to go. Now we will go for adding those data in over there, but I will show this one more test case why I have written here. So actually what it is, that verify the page title of that page. I have created one method in our page class, that is the verify page title, which will return the driver.get title. Driver.get will return the string value, and then in the test class we will call that method verify page title, and we will run it. Okay, I will show you what it is exactly. Okay, I will run this test case once again. So our test cases is passed, first, second and third, no failures are there, so it's good. Now what we have to do, we will go to our Swag Lab. I will show you what we have to do. Now we have to test the login features while like putting the value of username and then put password and login. But we will not just log in, we have to test that login feature by multiple data sets of data we have to provide to that, so that we can finally test whether it is showing the correct error or not, whether it is accepting the wrong data or not. So in that way we will test everything. But how we have to do that? So I have one I have to add one config file in that, where I will store some of the data. But before that I have to set up the base utility class. So we will just open this utility class, and then I will create one method, public void read pf data. Pf data means property file data. Okay, in that, so for that I will create one file here in the test data only, new file config.properties. So this file will contain the URL. The URL will be the same. Then also after login we have to we also want to get that URL after login, so that we can find assert that whether our login feature is working or not. If we have successfully logged in, so we can get that what exactly things we can get to assert it. So I am thinking to take this URL for assertion. So I will say that for this product page is that, so we will say product page URL. So product page URL will be the second URL. That's it. So we will go back to the utility class and we will continue to complete the read pf data method. So for that we have to locate that file first. So file input string, we'll locate the file, new file input string. This takes the path of that file. First of all, we will throw the error exception, that is the file not found exception will become. Then we will write one method system dot get property. In that we will write user dot dir means user directory plus. Now here we will add the location of that data, so test data and then configuration config property. So here we will write this // then test data, again / and in our file is config dot properties. Okay, so in this way we have situated our file in our project, and then we will go ahead. Now we have to add one more we have to load that create this instance of the properties, so that we can use the method of that properties. So properties prop equal to new property. Okay, we have created the instance of that property. Now we will create one file also. We will create one okay, we will load the file into the property file. So prop dot load, and then property file will be the file, and we will store it in. Okay, it will throw one error, so we will just keep it. We will store it in one more. We will give the name pf. Okay, and this create the local variable of that is object. No, sorry, it will not create one object. Okay, then we have to get the file, get the value from that file. So value, string value equal to, now prop dot get property. But what property we want to fetch out, that will be given by our test case data. So what we will do, we will give the return type of this, but we want to give the parameter from the test class. So we will give here parameter like string key, and this key will go into this key, and then we will return the value, and this value will be in string. So now what happens, when we will call this method in the test case, then what we will do, read pf data, and which data we want to find, just in case we want to find the URL of this data. So URL, we will use the URL name in the parenthesis here. That URL name will go into the properties. This will be loaded, this go into the loaded file, and then it will give to our this instance object, and then it will return to our method. So in this way we can get the property file in our test class. Now second thing is that we have to create one screenshot method also, so that we can whenever the test case get fails, then the failed test case screenshot should be taken by the, means automatically it should take the failed screenshot. So how we will take? So we will create one method for that, public void failed, okay, capture ss. In that what we will do, we will create one method word that file destination equal to take screenshot, okay, upcasting with the driver dot, okay, you have to mention the new word here, dot get screenshot, and then we will have to give the output type dot file, okay. So this will take the screenshot of that particular file, and it will store in the destination, but this will be stored in the local destination. We have to change the source of this destination. So how we will do, we will create one more new file, source src equal to new file. This will take the input of the source. So which source we want to, so we will create we have already created one folder here, so I will just delete this, okay. So this is the for path we have to give to the folder, this method. So how you can do, then this is again we can do that, system dot get property, here user dot dir, then plus, then it will get the screenshot here, that how. So we will just give the screenshot like failed test case, no, so double, we will just copy from here, property failed test case screenshot, copy and paste it here. In that we will create one more folder, the name of that file will be take failed test case number will be generated. Now how we can create the screenshot name by screenshot number, means what test case has been failed, how we will know. So we will generate that number by one giving the input of that test case id. I will show you how you can do, but here I will apply that id plus test case id plus, and the format of our file will be jpg, okay. So this test case id will be given from our parameter int tcid. So this tcid will be given to our this, and now it will take the screenshot and make sure it will store in the perfect location. Now we have to handle this file from destination to source. So how you can do, so file handler dot copy from destination to source, okay. So this will copy the file from destination to source. We will just add one throw error exception, that will be IO exception. So in this way we can get the ID. Okay, now we will go to test class now. And also one more thing, we can do one thing, that we have to call this value in the base class. We will change this driver.get URL, and we will call this URL from the config file. So how you can do, now just we will call the utility class dot, our method is read pf data. Okay, I have to extend it, I guess, but I can't do one. We can do one thing, we have to we'll do the static. Okay, pf data, and here we will give the input of URL. So now this driver.get URL will fetch the data directly from the utility class. Okay, I have got one error, change retype to static. Okay, already I have done it. Change read pf data to static, already done. Okay, so error is gone. Okay, so afterwards we can go for test class now. But before that I will show you how this URL will work. So we will just open the test case class and run the test case. Also we can change the URL, this URL also, expected URL. Okay, I guess some error is there. We will see what error we have got. I guess that base utility class only issue is there. Okay, this is the issue. Initialization. Okay, same thing, I was guessing it was the driver.get utility class dot read pf URL. It is correct. Now file input stream, property file, then prop.load, it will load the file. Then after loading, I guess I have to create one instance of this. Thus I will give the ABC, and what will be, it will create object, but we can't create the object of that. We just have to load it first. Okay, in test data. Okay, I have not saved that file here. File config dot properties. Okay, URL, the URL will be Then we will go for further dashboard URL. What you can product. We will save. Now we will run the test class. And I hope it will work. Yeah, it's working. Okay, now we will go for this. We will change this also. Same thing we will do. Utility class dot read pf, where we will call the product page. Sorry, we will call the URL only in double quoted commas. Add the, or else we can do just add. Okay, now next step we will come to for functionality, verify the functionality also. So for that, first of all we have to get the we have to update our page class, where we have to add some of the elements there, web elements there. So we will go back to our page, just log out this. Then we have to take the web element address of this username, text box, and then password, and then login. So how we can do? In page class we will come here, @ find by annotation private. I will just create some of the element and then just copy it, copy, paste. I guess this will be username, this will be password, and this will be the login button. So username un, password pwd, and this login button. Now we will find the XPath or ID, whatever will be there. Username, we have the ID, so we will go for ID only. So ID equal to paste. Now we will go for password. I guess it will be same password. See, password is there, copy. ID equal to password. Then once again we can go for the next one, that is the login button. So login button has same thing, login button, copy, and then ID equal to login button. Okay, so these are the elements we want to fetch. Now we will create one method for initializing or action on that. So public void, then what will be our enter credentials. Okay, so what credentials we want to put? That are the string username and string password. Now we have to call the elements, that un. Okay, so un dot send keys. The keys will be given from this username. So this username, copy and paste. Same thing for the password, pwd dot send keys. This will take the from. Okay, and later on login button dot click. So this way our login will work. We don't have to give any kind of a return type here. We will just log in here. But one more thing is that we have to create we have to fetch the error message also. So how we can fetch that error message? So we will just try to give the incomplete method or incomplete error. Okay, it will throw error. So here this error is there. Okay, we can go for this one, div class error message. So we will try to find it here only, div, and then in square braces @class equal to in single quoted code this. Okay, so it's one of one, so it is clear to use this one. We will come here and then fetch that, find by, then it's a xpath, so xpath equal to, we will paste that, and then we will create the id of web element by private web element, and we will error message error message. Okay, so for fetching that error message we will create one more public void get error message. So how we will get error message dot get text, this text will be returned, and we will give the return type of string. Okay, so in this way we have returned the error message to our each of these. Now you will see that what kind of different errors messages are there. So just we will refresh it. Now we have given the correct username but wrong password. So by logging it will show epic sad face, username and password do not match any user in this service. Now we will do one thing, we will just send it the wrong username and correct password. So it's giving the same error message, but what will be the inspect value for this? Okay, it's come into the only one section is there, error. So for every error message we don't need to give the different web element, the same element will be useful, or same locator will be useful for that. So we will go for the login page now, login page test class, and we will create this. So for here we want to give the sets of data, so that we can verify valid credentials, then invalid credentials, then blank credentials. Also we can say invalid username credential or invalid password credentials. So we have to verify this many sets of data. So valid, invalid, blank, invalid username, invalid password. So how we can use it? So for that we will do one thing, we will create one data provider, the help of the testng annotation, and call the object to the object and store some of the sets of data there, and we will fetch that data into our test case data. So how we can do, just call it public void, then for that we don't need to call void, we have to return the type, that is object square braces, and then the name of that get data. Okay, and we will give one, okay, at the rate data provider, and we will name that provider name equal to credential. Okay, so this data provider has the name of the credential. When we will call the data provider to do any kind of test case, then we will have to mention this name to show that we want to get data from this data provider method. So we have to return this, so we will use the return data type new object, okay. Here is the object, we will close here. Now how many sets of data we have to give? So we have to give sets of 1 2 3 4 5. So we'll create the 5 sets. Okay, so first set will have, also we will not just give the invalid means username password, we have to also mention that in one scenario we will say that it's a valid or invalid or blank or some of other scenarios. So here we will show that first is it valid one, so we will call that valid comma, then what will be the name of that username. So just first of all I will just copy say this one, this type of method, I will cut this 3 and then copy it, paste, okay. So the first one will be valid, second one will be invalid, then third one will be invalid username, and fourth one will be invalid password, and the last one will be blank. So for valid we will go back to the site, we will take this, paste it, copy, paste it. Now invalid, both will be invalid to ABCD 1 2 3, ABCD 1 2 3, okay. We will give one more addition at the rate. Then invalid username, so invalid username will be there, and for password it will be correct, and for correct username invalid password, and this both will be blank, okay. So in this way we have set our data provider also. Now we have to call this data provider, but before that we have to create one logic to test the or verify the login functionality. So we will create one more test class, but test case script for that, but okay, just create one public void verify login functionality, and we will call that direct test in the data provider equal to credential. We have to import that. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to log in that functionality, but before that we have to enter the credentials. So for entering the credential we have to call the object of that class, that is page class. So login dot, we have to enter the credentials first, the credentials will come from here. So what we are going to do, login valid, and the means 3 parameters we have to give to this method. So string, first will be the scenario, then string, second will be the username, and third string password, okay. So first of all we will give the username, and then second one will be the password, Okay, afterwards we will do one thing. We have after entering the credential, we have to also mention that whether that credential is for valid or not. So for that we will create here scenario, or else we can do one thing here, if scenario equal to valid, then it should accept the, so we have to enter the credential, valid credential, to issue what, accept the credential and log in to the page, and we have to fetch the page from there. So what exactly we have to do, login dot, we have to verify that URL is correct or not. To verify URL, okay, so this URL will be result of this, so result, and what will be return type of result, that is string. Then also we have to mention that expected result, so expected result, actual result and expected, we will give that EACT, and this result name are okay, equal to. So from where we can find this expected result, so we can find it from our config file, that is utility class dot read pf data. And also I said you about we can file get the product page URL, so we will just copy this one, come here and paste it, okay, and this will throw one exception, that is the declaration we will go. We will also use the another way of handling the exception. For just now we will use the throws. So this will give the URL. Now we have to assert it, assert dot asserts equals the actual result and then expected result, okay. Now after that, else if scenario equal to, or also one more thing we can do, not equal to, I guess we have to mention that dot equals, and in that we have to mention the whatever we have to fetch that. So same thing here we will do, dot equals, and in the parenthesis we will mention which scenario we have to call it, that is invalid one. Now for that what we have to do, if it is invalid, so it should give the correct error message. So which error message we have to get, we will call it from our page class, that is login dot, we have to get the message from here, okay. Then the return type of this message will be actual result equals, and this is string, okay, and then string actual result expected result equals to, so what is our actual result, so we will call restaurant from here only. For invalid, both are invalid, so anything we can put it, and we will inspect this. Inside that we will go here, and this is the error message we have to fetch it, so we will just paste here, and afterwards just simply we have to assert out. So we can do one thing, we will just copy here, copy this and paste here, Now simply we have to call this again, copy for invalid username, and then invalid password, and then blank. So from invalid, these are both invalid. Here invalid username. For username, what exactly we will get, we will see. For invalid username, this is correct password, no? So we will just keep it correct. Correct password, invalid username, login. So you need to, sorry, I guess here, come here, and then copy this, and then paste here. Afterwards, invalid password, come here. Once again, the correct answer will be standard, and the wrong password, the error message will be inside this. Copy, come here, and just paste it. Okay, now for this is the blank. For blank one, we have to fetch this. So for just we will keep the blank and login. So this is giving the different one, different error message. So just we will fetch that and then paste it here. Okay, we have done this. So this is the logic to verify the login functionality with the sets of multiple set of data. So here we will fetch the your login, valid login, invalid login, then invalid username, invalid password, and then blank. Okay, now we have to make sure that our, so if any kind of any test case get failed, then we have to mention that it should get captured. So we will mention that after method here, public void, and for after method what we have to do, capture the failed. Okay, we will just call it tear down, and this will be the after method. So what it will take, it will take the I test result equal to result. If result dot get status is equal to I test result dot failure, then it should capture. So we will call utility class dot capture ss. Okay, and this will take the test case, or and this will also throw one exception here, like that. So if test case is failed, then it will take the screenshot, yeah, and for that, and afterwards driver dot quit, and we will do one thing in base class. We will just delete this one for now. We have to just mention this here. Okay, so we will run the test case now. Now it's opening. Okay, So we will see any error or any kind of thing. So here we can see that test case for login functionality with by using, so we will just use the test and the report from here. We will also use the extend report for just for now. We will use the extend our test and report here. So for blank it's passed, for valid it's also passed, invalid password, both invalid, then invalid username. Also we have verified the logo, verified the page title, and verified the URL also. So I hope you have got this and how we can test the login functionality with the sets of data. We can also use the softcore data, means lot we will not hardcore this data here. It's not a it's not a good practice to do, but for us now we have to understand the logic and how we can do. I have done this hardcore data. In next step we will use the Excel sheet to get the data from there and then use it in the data provider. So till now whatever we have completed, you can just go through it. Like we have written the completed the utility class, added the config file, then we also added some of the elements here, and based on that element we have created the method. Then later on the in the login test page, we have created one data provider, and then we use that data provider for giving the data to the test class. And this is the test method. This is the method, logical method for the testing the different sets of data. So that's it. Have a good day.